What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Beyond the Bench podcast. We are here with our Week 5 recap. I can't believe it's already Week 5 of the season.
I know, over a month into the season, it's flown by.
And for the second time this year, got a win in both of my leagues.
I also did. So we're coming off a big week. We're coming off
already
a big
better
week.
than last year for me. Looking good. I've scored, I believe, I was looking at our league before. I have scored the second most points in the league. I've also I believe I've had the third most points against in our league. So that's why I had
bad luck will do that to you. Good teams. I know some really good teams that are 0-5 right now, and unfortunately 0-5. There's still a little bit of salvaging to do, but at 0-5, I don't know.
My sleeper league, my dynasty league, scary one there. I lost Bucky Irving this week, unfortunately.
He should be back soon.
We'll get to that, but he has two injuries, which kind of worsens.
Oh,
he
has
a shoulder and his foot.
I thought it was just the foot. Okay.
If you look at our new graphics on Instagram, you'll see that. But I lost Bucky
for you guys later.
I lost Bucky this week, and I won by a single point because Drake May and Josh Allen were not good in the first half. I started getting scared, and oh boy, Derrick Henry. I don't even know what to say about Derrick Henry.
I don't know. I don't know what happened. He was amazing in week 1, and then ever since then, it's like
he had 33 total yards this week. He's had 2 games with more than 10 points, and one of them was 10.7. So, yeah, Derrick Henry looking like a shell of his former self.
Unfortunately, which is not the way that you want to see.
Yeah, but on the brighter side of things, Nick, you want to tell everybody about what's going on Instagram?
So, we have a very special announcement for everybody. We have teamed up with one of our friends who is a professional development, graphic design major and sports communication major. He just recently graduated from Syracuse University, upstate New York. So he has been helping us with some professional growth and graphics, and we're going to have a lot of graphics coming out. So keep posted on the Instagram, keep posted on YouTube, keep posted on TikTok. We're going to have reels coming out. It's going to be very good.
So we have thumbnails. We're back with thumbnails. I know. So if you go back all the way back to our first ever fantasy football videos, I tried with the thumbnails, didn't succeed. So now we have professional help with these thumbnails, and I'm really excited to see where this takes us. And it's
going to be very good.
It's going to be fun.
But first, let's start out with our Week 5. Let's go through the rounds. For waiver wire, I'm very proud of myself this week. I think I have some waiver wires that you don't have, and I think you will be interested in knowing.
You definitely have some waiver wires I don't have. I have one that went up 37% this week.
37?
This past week.
Okay.
Because of a specific injury that happened.
Do you want to start with that?
I'll start with that. It's Darren Waller.
Yes.
I think so. He is, I believe, rostered. I want to double check that, but I think I saw, 48.4% of leagues, which is up 38.6% from last week. And obviously, the Brock Bowers injury helps that. That's why I started him this week. And could be why I start him next week if Bowers stays injured. On the season, obviously, he's played 2 games. Darren Waller has 8 receptions on 9 targets, 105 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
That hurts to say as a Giants fan.
Yes.
But I was happy because he helped me win my week this week in fantasy against one of the biggest trash talkers in our league. So it was a big win this week.
Mr.
Ronan McGowan. Nice try, though.
McGowan. Sorry.
He is a big fantasy football guy. He loves fantasy football probably as much as Nick and I do. So it was a big win this week. I'm happy I got that win.
In every single league, there's this one guy that stocks the waiver wire. Ronan is this man.
I went to pick up Rico Dowdle at 7 a.m. the morning that Chuba Hubbard got ruled out. I believe it was Friday morning, 7 a.m. And I'm like, oh, I could finally beat Ronan to this waiver wire pickup. And I look, and he picked him up at 3:30 in the afternoon the day before. How does he even know this stuff? How does he even know this stuff?
He is insider information.
It makes no sense. He did the same thing with DeMarcado, which
Yes.
didn't work out, thankfully.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't.
My
Yeah, I would say
sorry.
Darren Waller's a great pickup. I'd still pick him up. He's looked
he
phenomenal.
honestly, and the tight end position has been so weird this year. You have like
It
three
has.
guys. So actually, speaking of tight ends, my first guy is a tight end, Mason Taylor.
Yep.
On the Jets, 8.2% rostered, according to ESPN leagues. It's been clear that he's the number 2 target behind Garrett Wilson. Just in week 5 alone, he had 12 targets, 9 receptions, and 67 yards, no touchdowns.
That's 12 a lot of
targets for a tight end is
Yeah.
ridiculous. So if you are in need of a plug and chug tight end, I feel like Mason Taylor is that guy. Justin Fields has been phenomenal in every game that he's played fully, throwing multiple touchdowns for 250 to 300 yards per game. He's been phenomenal on the Jets. So obviously the Jets' problem is not Justin Fields.
Yeah, and he is the son of legendary Dolphins defensive end Jason Taylor. Just want to point that out.
Yes, he is.
My second waiver wire pickup is a guy that I really want this week. I can't believe he's still on waivers. I think he's rostered in close to 50% of leagues, but you know what? 50% is not enough for this kind of guy. 52.3% of leagues. Rostered even up 11% from this past week. But he's, after all the scores this week, he's the number 6 ranked quarterback in the league, and that is Matthew Stafford, who,
Yes.
in my opinion, is right now looking like the front runner for NFL MVP. If I had a vote, I'd probably pick either him or Baker Mayfield because he has 11 touchdowns on 2 interceptions, just over 1,500 yards, and he's thrown to the best wide receiver in the NFL right
It's
now.
ridiculous that believe at 37 years old, he's having probably the best career or the best season of his career. It's absolutely astounding to see.
And he's averaging almost 20 fantasy points a game.
For someone that doesn't rush is ridiculous.
Yes. And for me, especially, I've been kind of, this is a baseball term, but platooning my quarterbacks, just kind of going week by week. This past week, I started Justin Fields. Turned out phenomenal for me. He's playing the Broncos this week. I don't want to do that. Even though Justin Fields, in the 3 full games he's played this year, he has scored at least 25 points.
That's what I.
So obviously, I'm going to keep him.
It's kind of ridiculous the slander that he's getting. He has been probably through 5 games, the best QB that the Jets have had in a long time, statistics wise.
Statistics wise, yeah, they're still 0-5. Oh, yeah. And my professor was talking about that today, how awful they are and how they find a new way to lose every single week.
Every single week.
Yeah.
Poor
Jets
fans.
Mind you, it's not even a sports media class.
No.
It's a broadcast news production class where he was just, before class, we were talking, he was like, yeah, not a good Sunday. The Yankees lost, the Jets lost. Like, it was a bad Sunday.
Everybody, the New York fans are going through it.
Yeah. And I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, the Giants, man. They didn't look good either.
They did not look good either.
But, yeah.
My next guy are actually 2 guys, but I'm going to pair them up because nobody's really totally sure. Yes.
I did the same thing. Those are my last 2 guys on my list. I know exactly where you're going, and I think this is perfect.
So, nobody really knows who's going to be the RB1. So, this is going to be after the Omarion Hampton injury. Obviously, they put him on IR, so he's going to be out for at least 4 weeks. That is not good for somebody who drafted Omarion Hampton right when he started to get hot. Not ideal. However, if you can pick up these 2 guys, Hassan Haskins and Kamini Vidal, pick them up. Omarion Hampton, as just says, on IR. If you need a plug and chug running back 1, these guys are gonna get that for you. They're basically rostered in no leagues.
Yeah.
Hassan Haskins is rostered in 0.3%, and Kamini Vidal is rostered in 0.1%. So they will be available in your leagues.
And it's not even like you can take a guess who got more carries after Hampton got hurt. Because he got hurt very late in the game. And Vidal had 4 carries and Haskins had 5. So, and neither of them have had a carry.
Based on projections, on ESPN projections, I think Haskins is projected to get more, but not by a lot.
You really don't know. And it's the Dolphins.
Yes.
I'm going to touch on that later, but you know my feelings on the Dolphins and their defense. But yeah, I think both of these Chargers running backs are going to be a very good pickup this week. if you have enough room on your team for both, get both,
Get
see what
them.
happens,
Yeah.
drop the other one,
Yeah, I
and
agree.
go from there. But for now, I think Haskins is probably your best bet.
I agree. So my next guy is, I would say he's a stash. If you are 1-4 or 2-3, I don't know if this is gonna be your guy, but if you have this bench space to stash a guy for the rest of the season, I feel like this is just a gem in, hiding in a box of coal. So this guy's Luther Burden the third. He's rostered in less than 9% of leagues. His box scores are not good. I will preface that right now. His box scores are not good, which is why nobody's picking him up. However, he's had 3 red zone targets alone and through 4 weeks.
Mhm.
That's very good. That's almost a red zone target a game. That means touchdown production is going to come. He's seeing a 25% target rate, which is massive.
Yeah.
He's seeing a 24.4% snap share, which means that almost 1/4 of the time he's on the field. And then he's seeing a 23.8% in slot snaps. This is the main thing that I want to touch on. Rome Odunze is becoming the all-around wide receiver one in Chicago.
Yep.
Deep threats and slot threats. If Luther Burden can solidify himself as like a Lad McConkey role, where short yardage, get in the slot and make receptions, he is going to be so valuable, especially in PPR leagues.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like big. The target share is big for him. Especially on a team with this many running backs or wide receivers, this big target share. You want to move on? Is that your last waiver wire?
Yeah, that's my last one.
All right. So I want to talk about the buys this week.
Mhm.
I feel like the buys and sells this week there weren't
a lot. Weren't a lot.
I feel like the big guy on everybody's mind is Ja'Cory Krosky Bill, Big Bill, if you will.
I don't even have him, but yeah.
27 points this week. Looked like the lead back. He looks like he's gonna stay the lead back here or there, not here. I don't like them, but they're in Washington. Looks like he's gonna be the lead back. He's still somehow only rostered in 71% of leagues. Stephon Diggs
Which is crazy to me.
Stephon Diggs is rostered in more leagues than Bill here. But 14 carries, 111 yards. That's the most carries he's had in the game all season. And then, the 2 touchdowns don't hurt either. Obviously it's hard to buy on a guy that just had a 27-point game, but maybe you will be able to kind of, the person that has him in your league might have a sell mentality on him. And that's a good thing to have when you're trying to buy. If you're trying to buy someone that another person that has them thinks is a sell, that's a great person to. And this is the 3rd week I'm saying this.
This is what we always say on Beyond the Bench. You are not trading the player, you are trading the person that they in your league. It does not matter how good or how bad a player is. If another person, this is why trades fall through all the time, because almost always 2 people disagree on how they see the single player, no matter the stats, no matter whatever. So take advantage of people who don't have the stats right, frankly.
Yeah, absolutely. And
go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like I said, those are the type of people you 3rd week in a row want to take advantage of. We do not condone taking advantage of
slogan.
We do not condone taking advantage of people unless it's in fantasy football purposes.
Fantasy football.
Yeah.
My first buy is AJ Brown. I actually tried to set up a trade for him today, but here's my reasoning. He has an elite target share. I think he's been averaging like 9 targets a game. I don't think he's gotten below 8 or something. Or maybe he's been hovering around 8 a game. We saw in last week that the Eagles offense is passing more. They are trying to pass more because what teams have realized, which kind of crazy that this took them this long, but they're just stuffing the D-line and Saquon can't do anything. So they're going to have to pass more, and I think AJ Brown's going to definitely benefit from that.
I'll talk about AJ Brown in my sell section.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's a sell, and I'll explain why when we get there. But my second buy is Mike Evans, because this is another thing that you want to take advantage of, is players that are injured.
Mhm.
Mike Evans has been hurt. He's coming back very soon. Chris Godwin has not looked good in these first 2 games he's played. I know because I've started him. And I think Mike Evans is a good guy to try and get. He's been injured. People might not even be looking at him because he's on the bench. Oh yeah, take Mike Evans. When Mike Evans comes back, he's still going to be the wide receiver 1.
I
He's
agree.
still going to get 1,000 yards this year.
I agree.
Emeka Egbuka doing this well might even skyrocket Mike Evans up to another level, because he is not the only guy they're watching on that team. We know how
And now
well
we have
he.
Chris Godwin. I just want to point that out.
I would say we know how well he performed with just Chris Godwin. Now, when there's 3 of them, obviously he's not going to get the targets that he once did, but he's not going to get the defensive coverage or the defensive eyes that he once did either, which I think benefits him a lot.
Yeah, that's a very good good point. So you're gonna disagree on this. Derrick Henry is on my bye.
Okay.
Let me explain.
I'll hear you out.
So the Ravens' schedule gets significantly easier after their bye, like significantly easier.
Mhm.
So I feel like if he can just handle the fumbles, the yards will come on their own, because they have had they've been playing some respectable teams. They haven't
absolutely.
like they haven't been playing bad teams. So after their bye, like they are playing pretty bad teams as of right now. I don't know if the record's going to change by then.
Right.
But their bye is week 7, I believe.
7. Yep.
So again, this isn't, this isn't set in stone. I feel like he has been doing pretty bad, where it's kind of like a proceed with caution. Like if you're like 4-1, 5-0, then you can take that risk, but not for somebody who's.
I also think that this is one of those things where this is not a trade that you're going to want to make if you are 1-4, 2-3.
Yeah,
if you're playing catch up, like if you're trying to catch up to the rest of the league, don't make that kind of trade. But if you can afford to take that dip in production for a couple weeks until he gets back in his form, you can do that.
Yeah, I agree.
My last buy might be a controversial one, but his stats have just gotten better and better and better as the weeks have gone on. Is Brian Thomas Jr.
I agree.
He finally learned to catch the ball. That's big. He was always getting the targets, which was a big thing. And I think we talked about this in a couple other. I think maybe last week we talked about this.
Yeah,
Not
we
Brian
did.
Robinson, Brian
Because
Thomas.
because you were flaming Brian Thomas for not being able to catch the ball.
Yeah, well, when you get 1 reception on 7 targets, 4 receptions on 12 targets, and 2 receptions on 6 targets, you kind of
makes it hard to defend. I agree.
But these last 2 weeks, he's picked it back 5 receptions on 7 targets, and then this past week, 4 receptions on 6 targets.
I also want to add that Trevor Lawrence has been performing better.
Trevor Lawrence has looked a lot better too. The Jaguars have looked phenomenal this year.
Yes, their defense, as Christian and I were saying before we started recording, I think they're number 1 ranked in fantasy right now.
They have
been playing phenomenally.
And against tough teams. Their last 2 wins were against the 49ers, who I get were banged up, and the Chiefs. Now we got to see what they do.
That's the first time the Chiefs have won, or the Jaguars have beat the Chiefs since I think like 2009.
Yeah. So their next 2 games are going to be really telling, because they play 2 of the better teams in the NFC in Seattle this upcoming week, and the Rams right after that. And then they go into their bye, and they have the Raiders and the Texans and the Cardinals and the Titans, but they have the Chargers right in the middle of that. So that's another big test for them. I think the Jaguars at this point in the season are looking like they're going to win that division. And I think Brian Thomas is going to be a big piece of that, and I think he's going to start performing a lot better.
I agree. My last guy is Tet McMillan.
Love Tet.
We've been saying this since week 1. The target share is there. He's getting a 27% target share. He hasn't gotten less than 8 targets a game.
Yep.
And here's the main kicker. This is why I want everybody to listen to get this done before this week. Jalen Cooker, who is the wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 on that team, is expected to return this week, which would open up a lot of room for Tet in the route game. They're gonna have to draw DBs away from Tet to Jalen Cooker and to Xavier Legette, especially now that he's healthy. And I think that's going to open a lot of plays for Tet, and I think you're going to finally see some production.
Yeah, that's what you notice this on a lot of teams that have a lot of these wide receivers, like have a lot of wide receivers. The target share is spread out, but the best wide receiver on the team is always obviously the one that performs better because there's
Mhm.
less defensive eyes on him, which is the whole Mike Evans thing. Um, Going into the sells, I think I'll talk about the guy that you talked about in the buys in AJ Brown. He is frustrated with the Eagles,
Yes.
and
Frustrated.
I do not want a player on my fantasy team where you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
If he gets traded, maybe he'll do better, maybe he won't. If he doesn't get traded, maybe Jalen Hurts will throw to him less to kind of
Mhm.
piss him off more, like
Mhm.
get at him. Like, I know that's not a team mentality, but these NFL guys are hotheads, all of them,
They
most of them.
are all
Like,
hotheads.
they're very,
Very egotistical.
yes, they are. And I think that's just a
Which
bad
I mean, you're making
situation.
millions of dollars. You're probably one of the best athletes in the world. That probably would be too.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I'm not faulting them. I'm just saying I don't want one of those types of guys on my team
yeah,
in
I
fantasy
agree.
because the point production is just going to go back and forth. It's going to fluctuate. So who's your first sell, Nick?
So my first sell is Jake Ferguson.
Mm.
So I think that once CD comes back, um, it's gonna it's gonna affect his volume a lot. Now I don't know if you agree. As we said before, the tight end position is a little bit iffy this year. So if you don't have that luxury of getting another tight end or getting, if you drafted a backup tight end, keep Jake Ferguson. I'm not saying he's gonna do bad. I'm just saying he's probably at his peak in performance right now.
I agree,
So
but I also think that with CeeDee Lamb, I was looking before. We're
Mhm.
just gonna say the first 2 weeks because CeeDee Lamb got hurt very early in that third game, against the Bears. Jake Ferguson with CeeDee Lamb playing
Mhm.
had 21 targets in the first
Mhm.
2 weeks of the season. He had 9 in week 1 and 12 in week 2, and he
I
was
want to
catching
point
the targets.
I want to point out though that was also when George Pickens was not being that involved in the offense.
That is true, but I think it's not time to sell him yet.
I
Wait and see
I
what
I agree.
happens.
I agree. You have to wait out and see. I'm just saying this is probably going to be his like he had what 25 points this week, something like
Yeah.
that. He's probably not going to replicate that every week. So
Well, obviously, yes.
if someone if is in dire need of a tight end, if you're starting, Brenton Strange at tight end, then that's obviously an issue. So someone like
Especially because
that
he's
would
out
want
for
to make a
four
trade.
weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Jake Ferguson's someone you got to hold on to at least for now until CD's
Hmm.
back and we see what happens with that offense.
I agree. I agree.
Um, my second sell I have here is Deebo Samuel, kind of for the same reason that Nick had with Jake Ferguson. Terry McLaurin's coming back soon. Debo's, I think, the number 7 ranked receiver
He
in
is, but he's
fantasy.
been phenomenal. But
Yes.
his box score, I do want to point out, his box score was very improved by a garbage time touchdown this week.
Yes, it was. And that's one thing I've noticed about him. He has a lot of touchdown dependence.
Yes.
Um, but you got to take advantage of the value that he has right
Hmm.
now. If you get a trade offer for the 7th ranked receiver of fantasy, mind you, he's projected 17 points this week, I think.
That's ridiculous.
When I traded him, I think he was being I traded him, yes. But it was for JSN. So you know what? It's turned out phenomenal
That
for me.
that that worked out.
But you got to take into account that these projections are very skewed because of who they're playing this week. I think it. I don't want to get my facts wrong. I don't believe they're playing a very good team though. They are playing the
They are
Bears.
playing,
They're very
the Bears.
mediocre on a Monday night. Which the Monday night games this season have been.
Defensive wise, mediocre.
Yes, the Monday night games this season have been very weird as well. Um, and I just think that this point production is a little too high for him. Will he hit it?
Hmm.
Possibly, but I think
Hmm.
that production is a little too high, and you got to take advantage of that and try and
That's what
get a trade
ESPN
off.
tends to do, though, which I don't agree with. Um, if you know their analytics are seeing a player get high, 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 regardless of the matchup, they'll project them high.
Yeah.
So, I that is a cause for concern.
Yes.
My second guy is Tony Pollard. There are two numbers that I want to bring up, and that is snap count. From week 4, his snap count was 90%. He was on the field 90% of all offensive snaps, almost every single one. The second Tajay Spears came back, that plummeted to 73%, which is still good. However, that was just in week 1 of Tajay Spears coming back.
And
That's
you can't
going to-
forget. So you can't forget about Sacred Heart University legend Julius Chestnut out
Yes,
there too.
Julius Chestnut, the best running back of the Tennessee Titans of all time.
Yep.
Who's Derrick Henry? All I know is Julius Chestnut.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you can sell high on Tony Pollard, I think by playoff times in fantasy football, I think that Tajay Spears will be the RB1, which is why I picked him up.
That's interesting. I like that. My last sell I have here is DK Metcalf.
Okay.
It's just been a weird season for him, and it's been a weird season for him and the Steelers. The Steelers have looked good. Aaron Rodgers has looked good. DK Metcalf's just kind of a weird player.
Weird middle ground.
Yeah, you never really know how he's gonna do.
Mhm.
You never really know. I'm trying to find him here in fantasy. I don't know who has him. But DK Metcalf is one of those players that's very streaky. He has been his whole career. He's the wide receiver 24 right now. This past week, they're on bye, but the week before in London was his first game with over 20 points, and he had an 80-yard receiving touchdown. Obviously, that's not going to happen every week. He's only had 1 week, well, 2 weeks, I guess, over 80 yards. He's only had 2 weeks over 32 yards.
Yeah.
He's getting the targets. He hasn't had less than 4 targets. He's getting the points because he's scoring touchdowns, but he's looking very touchdown dependent.
Yes.
And
that is not somebody you want.
no, that touchdown dependence is the downfall of any fantasy football player.
Yeah. You start to rely too much, and then you they're going to do this every week. They're going to do this every week, and then the second you need them to get a touchdown to win,
you wind up getting 9 points a week, and it sucks. And you can't trade them, and you just kind of dug yourself into a deeper hole than you were already in when you did trade for them.
I agree. For matchups this week, if you don't have anybody else,
No,
we
there's
have
some good matchups.
Good ones. We mentioned Matthew Stafford earlier. He is my number 1 matchup on my list this week. He's playing against the Ravens.
Yep.
And the Ravens probably could not stop me if I was at the goal line.
Yep. And that
they have looked absolutely horrible.
And you tie in Puka to this as well, because
yes,
Stafford does well, you know Puka's going to do well. And Devontae Adams even. Devontae Adams has looked great this year. He's looked so good this year. And I think this Ravens defense is going to get torched by Puka, and obviously not torched by a 30-whatever-year-old Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
But he's going to get the catches, and Matthew Stafford.
He's been getting a lot of receptions, though.
He has, and Matthew Stafford's looked phenomenal, and I think that's probably the best matchup of the week. The Ravens have looked
I agree.
Awful.
As I mentioned before, the Chargers running backs, regardless of which one you can pick up, they're playing against a Dolphins defense that just allowed over 200 rushing yards to Rico Dowdle. They made Rico Dowdle look like Adrian Peterson, like crazy. So if you can get those 2 guys and, more importantly, start them, I would definitely do that.
Yeah. So with that, I don't have the Chargers running backs because I knew either you were going to have them, but I also knew that we were going to talk about them before. I have the Chargers wide receivers. Same reasoning. They're playing the Dolphins.
I feel like the trend this year has just been pick who's ever playing against the Bengals and pick who was ever playing against the Dolphins.
And you know what? It's worked. So
it has worked.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's my seeing of this whole situation here. The Chargers wide receivers have already looked phenomenal this year, and I think this is going to make them even look better. I believe Keenan Allen projected almost 16 points this week.
For Ladd getting his first game over, I think, 10 points this week, he is projected 14. Or 13.5 or something.
Jeez.
So that's how you know it's going to be bad.
Yeah. But they did get stopped by the Giants. Just want to say that.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Speaking of the Giants.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of A.J. Brown from earlier, if there is 1 week where A.J. Brown will have his breakout game, it will be against the Giants corners.
I didn't have the heart to put that on my list.
Christian, we are Giants fans, but this year, I'm a Lions fan at this point.
I had
We're
such high hopes after the
yeah,
Chargers game.
yeah. So did I. This is disparity. Look in Christian's video right now. This is the disparity of a Giants fan.
I have my jersey here. Is that it? No. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it is it. I was
No,
right.
that is it.
I'd rather wear my Pat McAfee jersey, which I also have
You
right
have a
here.
Pat McAfee jersey?
Pat McAfee, West Virginia, baby.
That is a pull.
Q Country Roads. Q Country Roads, West Virginia. I'm not even a
Christian,
West
can we just
Virginia
get an
fan.
entire jersey collection?
I don't have any here. These are the only two I have here. One day we'll get a jersey collection
One
because
day,
I
alright.
got a good one.
Beyond the bench special episode.
You already know I'll pull out my Carolina Panthers Christian McCaffrey jersey
Yeah, I forgot you have that.
or my Drake London's not like
my
that
my
cool.
XXL Derrick Henry Titans jersey.
Or my brother's Atlanta Falcons Younghoe Koo jersey.
He has. I didn't even know.
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Now that's a pull.
My last matchup of this week is Ashton Genty against the Tennessee Titans.
Okay,
Ashton
Good
Genty
pick.
has looked very good, honestly, in these last 2 weeks.
he has.
I was starting to have questions early in this season, but you know what? He's a rookie. This is gonna happen, and I think,
Rookie
finally,
running backs are always weird.
he's finally breaking out. He's had the opportunity to face these mediocre teams that'll kind of get him out of the shell that he was in. And I think that
He's
this
finally
week,
returned back to his Michael Myers stance in the
Yeah.
backfield. So.
yeah, and I think that honestly, I think that helped him. If I'm being, like, I genuinely think that helped him. I think it's a mentality thing that helped him.
Yeah. Routine. So this week we don't have a lot of bye weeks. We only have 2, I believe. Christian, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the Texans and
Texans and the Vikings. I also just
Vikings.
want to point out, Matt Kuda declined my trade. Yeah.
He's a very hard guy to trade with.
Yeah, I tried. It
I will
wasn't a
say
good
that.
trade. It was Chris Godwin and DJ Moore for Jalen Waddle.
Love the
So-
kid, but he's very hard to trade with.
I might try and get Mike Evans instead, as we already
Yeah.
talked about. But yes, the bye weeks this week. Really, honestly, the only guys you might need replacements for is maybe Jordan Mason, if you're Nick, or Justin Jefferson and Nico Collins, which are like the big ones. And I think, in my opinion, the best 2 replacements this week are, whether you can pick them up or it's a buy low type of situation, is Stephon Diggs and Juwan Jennings. Juwan Jennings
Okay.
coming off injury. Make sure he's not injured before you trade for him. Same thing with, I'm also, guess I'll say Ricky Pearsall, same kind of thing.
Mhm.
And Stephon Diggs has looked great. And Drake Mays looked
Amazing.
like Drake
Amazing.
Mays looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the
Crazy
league.
that he's on our waiver wire right now.
I know. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well, I'm waiver pick 8, so I can't pick him
Yeah,
up.
I needed Darren Waller.
Yeah.
But
My 2 guys are Calvin Ridley and Romeo Dobbs.
yeah, so
so-
same type of players, if we're being honest.
Just low caliber that can get you points. I mean, that's really all we're trying to do in this segment. I mean, we're not telling you to trade half your team for a good player. All we're telling you to do is get a nice, trade or pick up and chug. Like it's just for 1 week. You can trade
Literally,
them
all you
after
might have to do is trade someone like DJ Moore, who
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think is a good replacement for bye week, but that might just
Yeah.
be my bias because of how many times he screwed me this year.
But Calvin Ridley's coming off his breakout performance. He had 18 points this week. He had, I believe it was like 10 targets. 10 targets, 131 yards on 5 receptions, no touchdowns. That is crazy. So adding to that, the Las Vegas defense and secondary is absolutely atrocious. They are ranked 29th in the league. So if you can get them at a very cheap value, get them. With Romeo Dobbs, he's coming off a huge week 3 performance. I think he had 30-something points?
A lot of points.
Yeah, it was like 3 touchdowns. He had a hat trick. And once again, the matchup. He's playing Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Put him in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's it for this week. Week 5 was a
think that
weird
is right.
week, if we're being completely
Week 5
honest
was
here.
this
Not a lot
episode's
of
a little short.
buys. Not a
Yeah,
lot
this
of
episode's
sells.
a little
It was
shorter.
a weird week.
Weird week.
Hopefully, this next week. I was talking to my friends about this. This is how I'm going to end. This NFL season has probably been the worst season I've seen in a long time.
Yes. I
Nothing's
agree.
happening. The
I agree.
Jaguars are probably the best story we got going right now, and I love
I
the
agree.
Jaguars. They've looked really good, but it's just not a very exciting season. And unfortunately, we're gonna have weeks like this where there's not a lot of buys, not a lot of
There's not a
sells.
lot, and I will say though, if you look at the micro stories, like the Bucks, the Jags, the Ravens, for
Matt
good and for
Stafford
bad.
potentially finally winning the
Stafford,
MVP he deserves.
Yes, it's just not a lot of big news stories.
Yeah.
There's upsets happening. Like we're recording this on Tuesday. Last night, Jaguars upset the Chiefs. That was massive. I'm sure every single Bills fan was happy to watch that game.
Oh, I'm sure.
After, once again, the Pats are suddenly becoming a resurgence team. Drake May looks potentially
one of the
like the
best
next
quarterbacks
Tom
in the
Brady.
NFL.
I don't know.
I love Drake May, but I can't stand my Massachusetts friends any longer.
Yes.
Unfortunately. And I think that's a good
They
place
have 5 years of a down year, and then it's just,
It's not fair.
it's not
As
fair.
shout out Charlie, he's getting a shout out every week. As Charlie
Yes.
said the other day, why does Matt always get to be happy and we don't? Makes no sense.
he's
But
a Giants fan?
No, Charlie's a Giants fan.
Charlie, yeah.
Diehard Giants fan.
Yeah.
Like wears Malik Neighbors jersey every day, every time they play a game. Diehard Giants fan.
You have a very odd corral of
friends.
Of friends and their supported teams.
Yeah, I got a Dolphins, I got a Giants, I have a Colts, and I have a Patriots. And everybody's either from New York or Massachusetts.
It's not
That's
not
the
like
best
they're
part.
moving across the planet.
Nope.
Or the country, I guess.
Nope. The Colts have been the great story this year too.
Again, Daniel Jones, I feel like, has been the biggest story. He's been freaking phenomenal.
Yeah, he's been great. Sucks to be a Giants fan.
Yeah.
And on that note, that is it for our Week 5 recap. Hopefully next week is a lot more exciting than this one. We apologize,
and
not a long
we
video.
should have a guest next week, everybody. So look
I'm
forward to
hoping we
that.
finally get a guest next week. Guest next week.
Yes.
Maybe they'll stop me from stumbling on my words. Who knows? But for now, I think that's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week.
Have a good week, everybody.